Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Pearson, your elementary ELL teacher. Today, you're going to do an informative oral retell for first grade journeys, lesson 15, and we're going to talk about the anchor text animal groups written by James Brushock. So, for this lesson, we're going to turn and talk. That means I'm going to ask you some questions. You're going to think about your answer. Then you're going to pair up with a partner at home, or you can be my virtual partner. And then you're going to share your thinking out loud in a complete sentence or sentences. So, animal groups is nonfiction. Nonfiction books teach us information and facts. Nonfiction is real. It has text features and photographs. Real topics might be holidays, animals, and sports. So, some of these vocabulary words or sight words are words that you may use when you are answering questions about the anchor text, about the um, text animal groups. So, number one is bird. A bird is a fowl or chick that has two wings. Most birds can fly. Number two, fly. Fly means to soar or flutter through the air by using wings or parts like wings. Number three, both. Both means two things together. Both. It's like look both ways. Or I added both numbers or two numbers, which would be both. Number four, long. Long means not short. It can also mean lengthy or extended. Number five, eyes. Eyes are parts of the body that are used to see, just like optics, eyes. Number six, or. Or is used to join other words when you have a choice between two things. You can also say and or with. Number seven, those. Those is a word you use instead of that when you are talking about more than one thing. You can also say these, a synonym. Number eight, walk. Walk means to move your legs to go somewhere, to stroll. Number nine, group. A group is a number of things that are alike in some way, a set or bunch. Number 10, feathers. Feathers are what covers a bird's body. You can also say quills or plumes are feathers. Number 11, hair. Hair are thin strands that grow from the skin of animals and many animals. I mean, the skin of humans and many animals. You can also call a mane is hair, like a mane on a lion's mane, hair. Number 12, wings. Wings are parts of birds that let them fly. Also, wings can be appendages with feathers. Wings. All right, number 13, amphibians. Amphibians are cold blooded animals that live in water and breathe air. Number 14, tadpoles. Tadpoles are young frogs or toads that do not have legs. Number 15, mammals. Mammals are warm blooded animals with hair or fur that make milk. Number 16, reptiles. Reptiles are cold blooded animals with scales or horny plates. You could also call them scaly animals because of their scales. All right, now that we've reviewed the vocabulary and sight words, let's look at our learning target. I can tell the main topic and key details of the text, animal groups, using pictures and words. Success criteria. That means how will you know you're successful at telling the main topic and key details of the text? Well, here are our steps to success. Number one, I will. answer the talk about it questions. Number 2, circle and say the author's purpose of the passage. Number 3, I will say and match what the text is mostly about. Number 4, say and match what the author wants us to learn. Number 5, say and match 1 to 2 detail sentences to each retelling picture. All right, so let's review our turn and talk rules. Number 1, I to I and knee to knee. Number 2, first one person talks, the other person listens. Number 3, then the next person talks, the other person listens. 4, do not talk too long on your turn or your partner will not have time to have a turn. You may agree with me, and you can say, I agree with you, Mrs. Pearson, because, and say why. Or you may disagree and say, I disagree with you because, and tell me why. So this is a first important detail from the book Animal Groups in our first grade journeys textbook. You can reread about it on pages 168 to 169. And here is your question. Fish have gills that help them breathe in water. Fish have gills that help them breathe in water. What do they have to help them swim? What do they have to help them swim? So you can say fish have both blank and blank. So fish have gills that help them breathe in water. What do they have to help them swim? So fish have both. Well, fish have both fins and a tail that help them swim in water. Fish have both fins and a tail to help them swim in water. Here's our second important detail from the text. You can reread about it in our Journeys textbook on pages 171 to 173. And here's your question. Why are snakes reptiles? Why are snakes reptiles? And what else do you know about snakes? So you can say snakes have, and also they. So what do we know about reptiles? Snakes have, and also they. Well, snakes have um, scales, and also they are cold-blooded because reptiles have scaly skin and they are cold-blooded. And I also know snakes hatch from eggs. All right, look at this important detail. You can reread about it on page 174 in our Journeys first grade textbook. And here's your question. Frogs are amphibians. Frogs are amphibians. Where do amphibians live? So you can say amphibians live on both blank and in blank. So where do amphibians live? Amphibians live on both blank and in blank. Well, if you remember, amphibians live on both land and in water. And here's our last important detail. You can reread about it in our Journeys textbook, pages 176 to 177. And here's your question. How are birds different than mammals? And you are a mammal. So think about that. How are you different than a bird? So how are birds different than mammals or you? So you could say birds have blank and blank, but I don't. Birds have blank and blank, but I don't. Well, birds have feathers and wings, but I don't because I am a mammal. I do not have wings. I have arms instead. And instead of feathers, I have hair. All right. Why did the author write the text animal groups? Well, it's as easy as pie. And pi stands for different things. So the author wrote the text to either persuade, P stands for persuade, to convince the reader of a certain point of view, or the author wrote the text to I, inform, and inform means to teach or give information to the reader, or entertain, to hold the attention of the reader through enjoyment. So why did the author write animal groups? To either persuade, inform, or entertain. Also, we need to talk about the main idea. What is the main idea? The main idea is what a text is mostly about. And you can look for the main idea by looking at the title of the book and the pictures. Sometimes the main idea is in the first and last sentence. And look for clue words repeated over and over. So we're going to retell animal groups together using these sentence frames. The author retell animal groups. The author wrote the text to either P, persuade, I, inform, or E, entertain the reader. So why did the author write animal groups? To persuade the reader of a certain point of view, to give information to the reader, or to entertain the reader with a funny story. So the author wrote the text to inform the reader. It is mostly about, what is animal groups mostly about? It's mostly about 5 animal groups. So here are 4 details or facts that support the main idea. Here are 4 details or facts that support the main idea. First, what do you know about fish? So first, fish have, fish have both fins and tails to help them swim. First, fish have both fins and tails to help them swim. Second, what do you know about snakes? What do you know about snakes? Second, snakes are, a snake is a reptile that slides on its long body because it can't walk. So a snake is a reptile that slides on its long body because it can't walk. So what do we know about amphibians or frogs? Third, a frog or an amphibian Well, third, frogs are amphibians that live on both land and in water. Frogs are amphibians that live on both land and in water. So fourth, what do you know about birds? Fourth, birds. Well, fourth, birds have feathers and many can fly. Some swim or walk. Like a penguin is a bird that swims and walks. A penguin is a bird that cannot fly. So, in conclusion, the author wants us to learn about what does the author want us to learn about? What was the main idea? The author wants us to learn about 5 animal groups. Excuse me. All right, now that we've retold the important details along with the main idea of the text, it's time to reflect on our learning. How did you reach the learning target? I can tell the main topic and key details of the text animal groups using pictures and words. Would you give yourself a 4? I could teach this lesson. I easily answered the questions. I retold the main idea, and I retold all 4 details out loud. Or would you give yourself a 3? I could help someone with this lesson. I answered most of the questions. I retold the main idea. I retold 3 details out loud. Or would you give yourself a 2? I understood some of the lesson. I answered some of the questions. I retold the main idea. I retold 2 details out loud. Or would you give yourself a 1? I did not understand this lesson. I was not able to answer the questions. I did not retell the main idea, and I did not retell the details out loud. How do you think you did today? 4, 3, 2, or 1? All right, boys and girls, thank you for reviewing animal groups with me and talking about the important details and main idea. Have a great day.